Being a stylist has never been more rewarding, but it's also never been so complex. As hairstylists, we often forget that we are working in a multi-billion-dollar industry. The beauty industry is growing faster than ever, and there's so much left on the table because stylists aren't taking the time to understand business. I'm Melissa, your host. I'm a $1 million salon owner, a six-figure stylist, and founder and CEO of Sierra and Sage Extensions. And I'm here to help you understand how to bring business to beauty.
All right, well, welcome back, friends. I'm just going to throw a disclaimer out there. I am sick. I don't sound great. I am eating cough drops because this podcast cannot wait another day.
We say every episode, we'll be back. We're going to be more on track. We're going to be more on schedule. And yeah, we have not been.
Turns out schedules just don't work well for us. We just have too much going on all the time. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's always good things. Too many good things going on.
Exactly.
That we got to choose. And the podcast doesn't make the cut.
I know, which sounds terrible because we love the podcast and we love to talk about things. But yeah, there's just so much going on. And we're a small team too. So I feel like that kind of plays into it, is we all wear so many different hats that like sitting down and having a chat about things, although we're passionate about it, is just like, it's time consuming, I guess, to throw a podcast episode together. So it definitely doesn't always make the priority cut, which is a bummer. But with that said, I'm not going to make any promises on when we'll be back because who really knows?
Keep your notifications on. You can be surprised, just as surprised as we are.
Exactly. So with that said, we have sliced out some time today to talk about a, I guess, somewhat controversial topic. About kind of how to navigate, I feel like just like the world in general right now is so controversial. Like everybody is so strongly opinionated about like all things, even just like silly small things that I'm like, why do you care so much about that?
Yeah.
But I feel like people are more open and more vocal about like their thoughts and their feelings, and like all these things that used to be like taboo to like not talk about with strangers is like people are just more comfortable than ever talking about just anything with anyone.
Yeah. Especially I think with social media, people love to share their thoughts, love to share their feelings, and it just kind of makes everything like almost like at a higher volume. You just see what people are all about, and on one side you get to know them a little better, but on the other side it can be a little jarring to be like, oh, that's what you think? Okay.
For sure. So with that said, we kind of wanted to talk about kind of how to navigate that. Especially when you are working as a hairstylist or any service provider in the industry, even honestly sales reps and things like that. And you might come across a scenario where, you know, you and the person you're having a conversation with have differing opinions. So just kind of talking about like how to navigate that, how to stay neutral. And then honestly, I would just love to share kind of my experience and what I see, not only from like a stylist perspective behind the chair, but as a salon owner, and kind of seeing the different types of voices and things that my employees like kind of put out there, and how I see that kind of directly affect, I guess, like their financial outcome, honestly.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely important to talk about like how you navigate those conversations, but also when it's time to recognize like, I need to set down this boundary with this client or with this, I don't know, or even with your hairstylist, maybe if you are a client listening, when to set that boundary, and also maybe when it's time to just kind of like cut your losses, because as a business owner, whether you're booth renting or commission or in a suite, it's important to just kind of have those neutral opinions behind the chair so that you can gain more clients. But of course, there's going to be that time and place where maybe you need to make some decisions.
Definitely. So with that being said, one thing that I always have approached business with in general, like as a business owner, as a hairstylist throughout my career, is I do kind of take a little bit more of like an old school approach. And I choose to stay neutral. And so it's really funny because one of my favorite stories to tell, and this might sound bad, like if my clients are listening, I mean this in the nicest way, but my clients never really actually knew me, if that makes sense. So I've had this conversation before, and when I am behind the chair, I'm on stage, so to speak. And it depends on who's in my chair, right? Like I would service people from all different walks of life, all different ages, all different political backgrounds, like whatever the case may be. And I was always able to just like be a chameleon and just like adjust. And I think that like was a big contribution to my success. like for example, I don't drink alcohol just by choice. Like my clients every year would bring me like alcohol for my birthday or for Christmas. And I'm like, thanks, like I don't tell them. I just accept the gift and accept who they think I am, and that's fine. And so I think staying neutral has just been a big thing for me. A couple of years ago, we had somebody who was running our social media at the salon, and they posted it was like a national day, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into what it was, but they posted on our social media like, oh, happy blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, take that down now. And they were like, whoa, what's going on? And I'm like, it's not that I don't agree with that or that I don't support that. I just choose to stay 100% neutral in business because we're serving the general public, right? And so it's like, I don't involve myself in any controversial charitable donations. I don't post flyers in the salon for anything that could be controversial. I don't do any of that. And I do feel like that has been like a big part of our success in the business as well.
I think when you're taking a really hard stance, like if that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. We're not going to tell you like absolutely don't do that. But I do think it sounds like as a business owner, you kind of can have a polarizing effect if you're taking a harsh stance on something controversial one way or the other. You're obviously going to get those clients who really don't like that, whatever the case is, wherever they stand. It's always going to affect some group of people.
Well, not only like just the clients coming into the salon, but the people who work there as well.
Totally.
Like I don't feel comfortable posting something and making that like the poster board for the business when like maybe one of my employees disagrees with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't feel as a business owner that it's my place to speak for everybody who works in the building. And then, yeah, kind of what you're saying is that essentially, if you cut the like general public in half, one sits here, one sits here. If you're going to discuss controversial topics on either side, you're cutting out 50% of your like general target market. And that's massive if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So with that said, though, I do understand we need to create and draw boundaries because at the same time, like we all have a right to our own beliefs and the things that are important to us. And it's really freaking challenging to sit there and service a client and try to, especially because I feel like it's such a personal thing that it's like, I'm kind of pampering this person, but at the same time, I'm absorbing their energy. And so a lot of times, like if their energy is just really conflicting with yours, create boundaries.
Yeah, totally. Because when you're a chameleon, I feel like you could almost go too far on the negative side where now your client comes in and they start telling you something that you totally disagree with because they misread you entirely and you don't know what that might look like. But I think, it's just important to, when that sort of thing happens, we're not trying to tell you to like suck it up and just, get over it. It is important to, draw those boundaries, kind of maybe ease into some conversations with the client, or if it's really that bad, again, maybe just kind of cut them loose.
Yeah, I can give you like 2 prime examples of that. So I have had clients in the past that are, on opposing sides of different ideologies and whatever from me, right? And if it's something that I'm super, super passionate about to the point that like hearing them talk about it over and over just really irks me, the first step for me is to try to drive the conversation. I'm the professional. You're in my chair. You're in my place of business. Like you're in my house, right? So like don't come into my house and disrespect me, right? But it doesn't have to be like an argument, and it doesn't even have to be like a conflict. You don't even have to really let them know that you disagree with what they're talking about. Just simply change the subject.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times that in itself works really well if you're dealing with somebody who's extremely passionate and just like keeps going back. I have in the past simply told clients, hey, I respect and appreciate your like encouragement or your excitement of this topic. However, like that's just like a no-go zone for me. Like I like to keep everything neutral. I like to keep everything respectful. There's a lot of people here in the building that may be here like overhearing us, and it's my job to keep this place professional and neutral.
Yeah. And especially like if you're a business owner or maybe you share a suite with someone, maybe, you're sharing a chair right next to someone else, even if you're agreeing with your client maybe on some degree, I think it's also important to recognize there are other people in the room, other people in your suite, in your salon that maybe aren't really wanting to sit there and listen to whatever's going on. It's just maintaining respect for everyone, for your client, for yourself, and for the people around you too.
Exactly. I think that's one thing that's kind of like wrong with the world at the moment, is that everybody is so passionate about their differing opinions, and like it's like everybody is different and thinks and feels different things, and like that's what makes the world go round. You know what I mean? Like it's so weird to me that we're at a place where people are just so angry with each other for like not agreeing on one subject.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is crazy. We can still like sit on the couch together and have differing opinions and like have a conversation. And it's okay.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
It's okay. It's all okay. People have thought and felt different things for many, many years, and like we're all still here. It's okay. But I guess what I'm going down the rabbit hole of is when somebody is not able to pick up on your signals, right? So if you're trying to change the conversation, they keep bringing it back to that uncomfortable topic. You've gone down the, avenue of, hey, that's not a topic I'm comfortable discussing in this public setting, whatever the case may be, and they're still just not getting it and they're still pushing the issue, then yeah, you may have to fire them. So I had a client like that a few years ago. I did her hair for probably, like at least 8 years, possibly like 10. I did her hair for a long time. And then, around came the COVID days, and that's kind of when I feel like things shifted and people really just started being very open about all of their ideas and opinions. And she would come in and she would have these conversations, and it made me uncomfortable. It made other clients uncomfortable. It made other employees uncomfortable. And I would try to steer the conversation. I would try to talk her down. I would try to, do all of the things. And then it got to the point where she would literally come into the salon and she would show people like these crazy, crazy videos on her phone about like all these crazy conspiracy theories and whatever. And like, don't get me wrong, like I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist too, but this was like over the top. And she would literally be sitting on the couch in the waiting area, and she would put her phone like in front of other clients that she does not know and be like, watch this. Have you seen this? And I was like, okay, this has gone too far. Like this lady has got to go. And so respectfully, I let her go, and I just told her like, hey, I have tried steering the conversation. I have tried getting you to see and understand that what you're doing is inappropriate, and it's like, you're not getting it. It's not clicking. And it was really funny because her response was like she had no idea. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, do you think that's normal? You know what I mean? Like, what do you, like, who do you associate yourself with that that's like, okay?
And again, I think that almost ties back to what we were saying before. Like, when you're just behind the chair, it's affecting you. But then when, getting in other clients' faces, now it's like making the whole salon look bad. Exactly. And now that client maybe won't want to come back, even though that, random third person is the nicest
like,
client
this is
ever.
A random customer of my business who's now turning off other people from coming here. You know what I mean? It's like not even a direct reflection of like the business or the people who work there. So yeah, I mean, I had to let her go. And so sometimes, people don't get it, and you have no other choice but to just like cut ties then and there. And that's fine. I never heard from her again. But her husband, however, actually still comes to the salon, which is funny. So we like fired his wife, and he still comes, which is hilarious. And I guess he came in after she got fired, and he was talking to his hairstylist at the salon, and he goes, honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised you guys told her she can't come back.
He knew what was going on.
I'm like, well, he knows who he married, I guess. But anyways, so yeah, I think driving the conversation can be difficult, but I do think that in order to like eliminate those scenarios as much as possible, it starts with you, right? So like, don't be the person who's bringing up those controversial topics. And again, that's not to say you can't be you and you can't share parts of you and things that are important to you, because I totally understand like the draw of having people sit in your chair that like you click with. I totally get that. Like, if you love every single person who sits in your chair, like, dream job, love my job, love what I'm doing, love all my clients, but like that's also not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, some people,
not everyone's going to be on the exact same page every single time. Even if you're all very similar in your styles or what you believe, there's always going to be some fluctuation, right? Like all topics, all topics are going to kind of be on some sort of a spectrum. So it's important to just kind of keep that in the back of your mind when you're bringing something up, because even if you have that client who you align on 9 out of 10 things, you bring up that 10th thing, maybe they're going to be a little like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, shoot, I might not want to rebook now, you know?
Suddenly the client you love, your relationship crashes and burns.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not, it shouldn't be that serious, but it can be, you know, if you are bringing up those topics and you are like getting super passionate about it and kind of like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I do feel like there's a risk involved in showing too much of yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's good to show like bits and pieces of yourself, but showing too much of yourself can sometimes like have a negative effect, I guess. And again, to each their own. You know what I mean? Like if it's important to you to have those types of relationships, I think this comes down to a personality trait for me because I am not the type of person who makes surface level connections with people. I just don't. I can't. I'm more of like a deep connection type of person. Right. You know what I mean? So I feel like for me and my personality and who I am, and maybe that's why this whole idea resonates so well with me, is like, you don't really get to know me unless you like know me. You know what I mean? Like I'm very much deep connections only.
Definitely.
So yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that. But.
I just think it's definitely, just kind of when you're thinking about how you want to structure your business or how you want to structure taking new clients and things like that, just consider what are the things that are super important to you, for sure. Like we said, more if you really want to share this aspect of your life on social media and to your clients, you are more than welcome, obviously, to do that. We're not your boss. But on the flip side, you know, maybe there are some things that are meant to stay kind of inside yourself, internal, so that you aren't creating any discomfort with other clients, right? I think it's just understanding when and where certain topics can come up and which ones maybe aren't meant to be behind the chair ever.
And sometimes too, I think that it becomes like almost like a protecting myself type of thing because, you know, it's like if I do have this opinion or this thing that I'm super passionate about and I put it out there and I share it and come to find out, you know, 5 out of 6 of my clients hate that thing or whatever, you know what I mean? Like then it kind of hurts me more than it hurts my clients kind of thing. So it's not really, to me, it's not really about protecting them or protecting the general public. It's about protecting yourself and kind of like just like holding part of yourself for yourself and your family and your friends. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, yes, we love what we do. Yes, it is personal. And I think that that's where people kind of mistake those client stylist relationships for like friendships.
Yeah.
And they kind of cross that professional barrier sometimes. And then I think that's where shit goes wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, just keep it professional. Remember at the end of the day, like this is your job. You're here to do a job, to create and build a career, to make money, to support yourself, to support your family, to support your goals and your dreams, not to like have diarrhea of the mouth and tell your clients everything about you and your personal life. And you know what I mean? Yeah. Like sometimes I walk through the salon and I'm like, you're telling your client way too much, girlfriend.
Yeah,
what is happening?
Yeah,
you know what
seriously.
I mean? Like they don't need to know that.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with their hair.
Again, I think you said at the beginning too perfectly, like be a chameleon. You have those clients that maybe are down to talk about anything. Yeah. You have those clients that maybe just want to kind of be quiet and just do the basic, the very surface level stuff. So
definitely.
It's just molding to your clients, molding to your business so that, you're protecting yourself, you're making more money, and you're not, limiting yourself by maybe just talking a bit too much, I guess.
Definitely. But you're also still giving yourself the power and the control to fire those that you cannot stand. That is okay too.
Yes, 100%.
For sure. I mean, I feel like that's kind of the whole episode in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like we got through that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, kind of like Emma said, is giving yourself the control and the understanding that you're working with the general public. Not everyone who sits in your chair is going to be your cup of tea. Hopefully you can get through it and it's okay. If it's a major issue, let them go. Send them to somebody else who maybe has or just is a better fit for them in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we will see you
when we
eventually. Some cool things going on in the month of July. All of our in-person education is 50% off right now. So if you want to get certified with us in Las Vegas, we have a class coming up in September And again, 50% off for that guy. And we have another one in the Monterey Bay area that's going to be later in September. So Vegas is first, then Monterey. Both of those classes are 50% off. And then also, if you've been curious about using Sierra and Sage hair and you want to give it a try, we are offering 20% off your first order with Sierra and Sage when you recycle old hair from literally any brand. And that hair does get recycled, so it helps clean up our oceans. And like I said, we'll give you 20% off that order as well as free shipping. So if you've kind of been on the fence, now is a perfect opportunity to give us a try.
Absolutely. And don't forget to try our Express Weft. We are getting rave reviews from stylists all over the country. We're super, super excited about that. And then we also have a few new shades that we're going to be launching later this summer, I should say. Yeah. Later this summer, later this year.
So keep an eye out.
So keep an eye out for those. But other than that, we will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.